My stepdaughter is living with my husband and I for the next year. She's an educated young professional who's saving up to buy her own home. Since she's moved in with us, past 3 months, she's become increasingly snappy and unhappy with how her dad and I run our lives. We aren't environmentally conscious enough because we don't compost our waste. We are negligent because we leave lights on when we leave our home for security reasons. We should switch to electric cars. We are contributing to the inhumane treatment of cows by consuming dairy. The list is endless. My cat Mango is getting to be an old man, and he has lived a full life of eating whatever he likes, obviously within what's safe for a cat, and he's happy that way. My stepdaughter is now insisting she will purchase vegan cat food because seeing Mango eat meat makes her sick. We feed him in the kitchen, and she will literally throw up, retch, leave the kitchen if she sees him eat meat. She has lost a lot of weight since, claiming that seeing Mango eat meat makes her sick, and we leave out dry biscuits for him to snack on, which also makes her sick. It's not like we leave mess out, but even if she smells his food in the which is gross, yeah, but the doors are open, and that's just life. If you have a pet, she will heave and walk away. Her dad and I both told her, if she's unhappy with it, she needs to find someplace else to live, and although we are genuinely sorry she's lost her appetite and has lost weight, we aren't going to change Mango's lifestyle. She has yelled, cursed at us, cried, begged, etc. But no, we are not happy with Mango eating a vegan diet. We don't feed him cheap crap either. We feed him food quality cat food that isn't processed or full of sugar or grain. It's pretty much gourmet Gordon Ramsay worthy cat food. My mother-in-law has waded in after my stepdaughter told her we were being unfair by refusing to let Mango go on her preferred diet for him, and is accusing us of being cruel and short-sighted. She says we are letting her get sick and that Mango won't hurt from a change in diet, but stepdaughter is hurting. Not the idiot. Cats cannot under any circumstances be vegan. They need meat. I have vegan friends who still feed their cats with meat because it's their choice to be vegan, not the cat's, who couldn't be even if he was sentient enough to want to be. If she cares about animals and the environment so much, why would she want to actually harm a cat by feeding it unsuitable food? Why does she have to be in the room while the cat is eating his meat? Cat meat smells gross, sure, and that's probably worse for a vegan. But she doesn't have to watch the cat eat. It sounds like your stepdaughter has an eating disorder and is using the cat's food, and her own vegan diet is an excuse. Not the idiot. I was vegan for a while, and know many vegans and all are able to be in a room while other people or animals are eating meat. It's nearly impossible to live a life in vegan isolation. Plus, if she gets sick just seeing Mango eat a dry biscuit, is buying vegan cat food really going to solve the problem? This is pure speculation without more information, but is it possible your stepdaughter has some mental and emotional issues, like an eating disorder, that are causing her to get sick and lose weight, and that she is blaming on the cat? Or is it possible she is hoping her dad or grandmother will take pity on her and put a down payment on that new house before she can afford it herself? Cats eat a mostly carnivorous diet. They will become malnourished and develop all sorts of health problems if forced to eat plant-based. Humans are unique in that we are rather adaptable omnivores and can be healthy on a wide variety of food, which includes vegan diets. But cats and dogs and many other animals need more specialized diets, so making the meat vegan will simply never be a healthy option for a pet that isn't a natural herbivore. Not the idiot. Your stepdaughter needs to learn some boundaries. If she despises living with you that much, then maybe she should punt her plans of homeownership down the road a bit and go back to renting. In her own home, she can conduct the household however she wants. Me, 17, and my boyfriend, 19, were on a 15-hour flight. This 10-year-old boy was sitting next to us. Mom was seated in the row next to us. For the first hour or two, he was talking to me and showing me games on his iPad. I was fine with that. Then he started asking questions about my hair and if he could touch it. I have half dyed pink, so because of that I guess I got tired of talking to him and told him I had to watch something, so I just put on headphones. He started crying. His mother calmed him down and apologized to me. I said it was fine. Few more hours pass. He was asleep for few hours, and I was playing on Nintendo Switch. He woke up and asked me if he could play. I let him play for half an hour. He managed to drop it 6 times during that half an hour, so I told him it was about to die, and he couldn't play anymore. Crying starts again. His mom asks me if I can let him play for a bit more, but I say no. She didn't say anything else. Then I was asleep, kinda laying down. I had my head in my boyfriend's lap. I feel some weight on me, open my eyes, and see that the kid is literally on top of me, climbing over to get to my bag, probably wanted to switch again. I sat up quickly, because I was kinda surprised. He stumbled back but didn't fall. He just got startled and another fit ensues. His mom was asleep too, but she woke up from the noise, and at that point she just started yelling at me for making her son cry multiple times, acting like a kid, and not having empathy for a single mom. She said that I could easily let her son play for a few more minutes, and if I was so bothered by him, we could have agreed to switch seats with her. My boyfriend told her that she was acting ridiculous. A flight attendant came and asked what the problem was. The mom said something about a couple of empathetic jerks. At the end, they got seated together in the back row. I feel kinda guilty about it now. You didn't make him cry at all. You are not obliged to take care of a stranger's kid, not to mention that he is 10 years old. While I have empathy for the mother because, well, she is a mother, and that's no easy feat, she couldn't have packed her son something to do during the long flight? Not to mention how she could have requested to be seated with her underage child? I highly doubt that the airline would refuse, or even if the airline refused, the way the steward or stewardess handled it indicates that, if she requested to be seated with her son before takeoff, they would have obliged. So, not the idiot. Not the idiot. I've flown multiple 24-hour flights with my family, starting when my children were 2 and 4 years old. Not once was anyone else required to entertain, or even talk to, my children. They were not given free rein of the plane, and did not climb over seats, or kick the seat in front, or ask to play with anyone else's device. By 10, none of this behavior should be occurring anywhere, never mind on a flight, where personal space is seriously restricted. As an aside, unless you pinched that kid in years not telling us about it, then you did not make him cry. He has obviously learned to use crying as a tool, and you just didn't buy into it. Not the idiot. Seriously, don't they offer seat selection anymore, where a parent can ensure that they are right next to their kid on a plane, and not across the aisle? And what kind of parent doesn't pack stuff to entertain their child? I am a single parent, and I am embarrassed when my kid accidentally kicks the seat ahead of him. I would be mortified if he started crawling on a stranger. The length of time he spent talking to you is likely an indication as to how attention-starved he is. The level of entitlement from his parent is also astounding. I am sure the kid was disappointed, but in the end it's your time and your device. 26. am a bit of a workaholic and love my job. I am in software, but an opening came up for a project manager position that I really wanted. I was put on temporarily and told I would be switched to it if I did well. This meant a lot of hours since the team had gone months with project manager, usually about 10 or 12 hours. Before I worked 9 hours, overtime was rare. It's hard work, but my salary would increase 35%. My boyfriend is the polar opposite. He hates being in one job too long and quits whenever he feels like it to look for the next one. He doesn't understand that my industry doesn't work the same as his. He works in construction, and I can't just quit whenever I want, which I don't. He thinks I love my job because I've been conditioned to by society and work is only good for money. We both got the shot, so he wants us to visit his family that he hasn't seen in over a year. I tell him okay, as soon as the project is done, in 6 weeks, I can take a month or 2 off then, and we can travel and relax. He wanted me to time off as soon as possible, but I didn't want to, because of the promotion, but also because we have to give minimum 2 weeks notice for vacation, and with 6 weeks left on the project I don't think my manager would allow it. I did end up getting the promotion, and I'm really happy about it, but he didn't seem that happy when I told him. He gets mad and quits his job to go see his parents without me. He accused me of loving my job more than him. We haven't been speaking much since he got back. I feel kind of guilty because I didn't go with him, and also because I didn't want it seem like I love my work over him. I'm an idiot for choosing to work over him. Your job has a 2-week notice before holding vacation, so you wouldn't have been able to go as soon as possible as he demanded, which is an idiot move by him, and you only have 6 weeks left on your project. This sounds like a red flag for me. You gave the best answer possible, and now he is pouting since you didn't do exactly what he said. Your boyfriend sounds manipulative. You might want to have a talk with him, seeing as you don't see things such as careers the same. Not the idiot for choosing your future success over a boyfriend with wildly different motivation to you who tries to make you think the way you think of work is wrong. That's not cool of him at all. Not the idiot. You are trying to secure your future, and it is okay to be passionate about your work. I can understand how taxing long hours can be on a partner, but if you are making your partner a priority outside of work, it shouldn't be an issue. Expecting you to take a vacation during a major project is not a realistic expectation and could put your career at jeopardy if they deem you unreliable. Work is not everything, and you do need to make others in your life a priority, but you also have responsibilities. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like you and your partner have the same life goals, which may cause serious issues in your relationship if you stay together. Not the idiot. Him saying you love your job more than him seems manipulative. Loving someone doesn't mean giving in to their every whim. Do you say parents who work don't love their kids enough? If he loves you, he should respect that you're happy with your job. I'd give anything for a job I'm passionate about. If he really loves you, he'd support you in that, and he wouldn't pressure you to jeopardize your job for really no reason at all. 6 weeks are nothing. Also, that long of a break can't be taken last minute by most jobs, unless it's an emergency leave. No sure what he thought would happen. My husband, Josh, 30, and I, 32, have been married for over a year and dated for 5. I have a son S, 12, from a previous relationship. My ex and I are nowhere near friends, but he's an amazing father towards our kid in every possible way. My kid adores his father, and they look pretty much alike. Josh and I've been trying to get pregnant for 2 years without success because he has a low count. We've tried everything, but right now we can only hope that it happens naturally since we can't afford more treatments. I guess that out of sadness Josh has been around S a little more, trying to get him to do things together and spend some time. S loves him, but he sees my husband as an authority or uncle figure and not like a dad. Josh has been trying to get S to call him dad or father since we began to try to have a baby because he didn't want my son to feel left out, but S has refused every single time and continues to call him Josh. It's okay. I had a talk with my husband about how S just prefers his name and that it's nothing personal. After a few more times, Josh desisted. But right now my husband has begun to try again, and S continues to refuse, saying that he already has a daddy and that he doesn't like the pressure Josh puts on him. I've tried to talk to my husband again, but every time he says that's not fair. My ex gets all the credit, while he's been a father figure for my kid half of his life. I told him that we can't force S to call him something he doesn't want to, and that not being called dad makes him less than my ex. I thought that was it, but yesterday while we were having dinner S told my husband Josh, "Look at this." And my husband totally snapped. He grounded my son and took his switch, saying that unless he starts to call him dad he won't get it back. S was almost crying. And I told him that none of that was gonna happen because we won't force him to do something he doesn't want to. My husband began to throw a tantrum about how it's not fair, how S' looks so much like my ex, And it's always a reminder, and that he deserves more respect. I told him to get out of the house until his mind is clearer and doesn't feel that fighting a kid, it's right. I get that Josh feels desperate and hurt, but I don't think that making us call him dad is the right move. However, I could be wrong. I know that my ex won't have any problem sharing the title, and I'm afraid I might be the jerk for not taking Josh's feelings into consideration. Not the idiot. You're looking after your family. Your son is doing what he's comfortable, and sounds like they have had a good relationship until now. Thank you for kicking him out, as hopefully it'll wake him up to how much damage he's potentially done to his relationship with your son. Please speak to your son, saying it's not his fault, and get your son therapy and demand your husband get some too. How frightening it must have been for your son, and to hear how his stepfather hates, how he looks like his dad. Words have been spoken that can have damage for years to come. It's also a red flag. You need to have a big discussion with your husband before he comes back. Good luck. Not the idiot. Your husband was very out of line to the point of abuse. He must get therapy. Men have dreams of family and children too, and while women's infertility is stigmatized still, men's infertility is even more stigmatized and diminished. If you are someone who wanted children, to be told that you can't have them is soul-crushing and world-altering. He may also feel emasculated, but based on his behavior, I imagine the lack of biological children is more of an issue for him. He needs to get help so that he can deal with this in a healthy way, and also so that he can understand his options. This is not to excuse his behavior, but hopefully to help him on a path to remedy it. Not the idiot, and your husband is doing all he can to drive a massive wedge in between him and your son. That will not end well, and the day may come when your son refuses to have anything to do with your husband, including requesting he not visits you anymore. Then you will be forced to choose between your son and your husband, and you know how that will go down. Your husband has to be made to understand the damage he is doing by this idiotic request of his. He has to be made to understand that your son already has a father, one that is involved in his life, and that this is never going to change. And if he persists, all he will do is end up with a stepson who hates him. The exact opposite of what he is trying to achieve.